Shalom, 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 shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kodash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. His Son's name is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh's name is He to be. All right. His Son's name is Yahweh Shai. Yah is He, Yahweh Shai is salvation. All right, there are two separate powers and entities. They are the deliverer of the nation of Israel, all right, the elect of the nation of Israel, 144,000 and 1/3, as prophesied and predestinated. So peace and blessings be upon the household of faith. Just get my sound up here. 144,000 1/3 remnant that are scattered. Consists of so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the rest of the Israelite foreigners. You may not look like a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, but you hear this truth, it resonates with you, and you feel remorseful to repent to Yahushua and get right. All right, and you understand 100% truth. And double honors to our elders and apostles that came back in the reincarnation, all the elders and bishops and deacons up in CT. Shalom, much love, and double honors to our, the elders and apostles, the true leaders of Yasha'Allah in these times in faith. All right, this is a book, actually, the Elder Apostle Tahar brought out some time ago, and I bought it. All right, our brother might have gifted it to me, but I've had a couple versions of this book. But this is the third edition. All right, it says expanded edition. It's called The World's Last Dictator, and I'm kind of going to do a commentary on part of it as relation to the mark of the beast that's mentioned in Revelation 13 and Revelation 14, because the so-called white man, whose nationality is Esau, Edom in the scriptures, he likes to tell on himself. He likes to write books. He has history and things written down that you can go out and get that shows what he's going to do in the future, and he doesn't care because the power is in his hand right now. I would say it like that. The power is in his hand right now. And this is where he draws his power from the left-hand side. And he's told on himself here. And this is a good book you can get. It's called The World's Last Dictator, Dwight L. Kinman. And I'm going to get a few pages out of here and get right into the scriptures. I'm not going to waste too much time here because this might be a little bit longer. All right, and then I'm going to tie into how all this is relevant to what's going on today. What's written in this book is playing out in prophecy and in this man's plans that's written in here. All right, so let me just go back. I think I have it out of order. The page I want to start on is right. Okay, yeah, so this is just to show you also. All right, this first came out in 93. All right, then another edition came out, and this is the 1999 one that I have. All right, so this book was written way back before, I think, dial-up. I remember first seeing dial-up when I was in like the 5th or 6th grade, maybe a little earlier. You know what I'm saying? They started putting computers with the tubes in the schools. This was already here, and it's talking about the technology that is going on right now today. Right. Just to show that. And if you want to get the book, there's ISBN right there. So let me go to this next picture. And then I'm going to hit some scriptures. I'm going to do it's kind of like a read, and then when the scriptures come to mind, I'm going to get. Okay, here, I want to start here. All right, it says Babylon comes to Chicago in 1993. It says in 1893, which is 100 years ago, in 1893, the world's representatives of the great religions met in Chicago, Illinois, to explore how all the religions of the earth could come together in a universal world church. And the reason why I'm bringing this out is because you have a lot of people of different faiths. And in order for this MOT to be forced continually in a gradual way, because it's gradualism what's going on right now. So everything that's being brought forth, people are just adapting to it, because it's not a sudden change. But to get everyone on board, they're going to need the spiritual aspect of it. So all the world religions are going to get on board. And, kind of like before. It's kind of shifted now where it's back in the ancient Roman Empire, not the ancient Roman, but when the Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, kind of got up in the papistry, because the first popes were all Israelites. All right, they were dark skinned men. But the Pope, the religion, they controlled the realms. All right, when the king wanted to do something, when he needed money at a certain point in time, he had to go through what? He had to go through the church to get his money to make the decision to do certain things. All right, but now um, it's kind of similar in a new way. All right, the Lord brought this spirit back because the Tower of Babel is happening again. And this is kind of what this is speaking on. That's why this bold here is entitled. The bolded title here is Babylon Comes to Chicago in 1993. All right, and Babylon is going to bring that mark of the beast. It says in 1893, the world's representative of the great religions met in Chicago, Illinois, to explore how all religions of earth could come together in a universal world church. 100 years later, in 1993, on August 28th through September 6th, 130 of the most prestigious religions of earth met together again in the World Parliament. Did I get the top of this page? Select it. In the World Parliament. I don't think I did, but it's okay. This is the bottom of the next page. All right, the top of this page continues on where that page left off. All right, but this is the bottom of it. I just got to the point here. I'll start at this paragraph. I can read some of it up here. It says, also, there, another man who had previously received the John Templeton Award was Billy Graham, the American Humanist Association president. Michael Warner was present and said, this parliament of religions could pave the way for a new age of humanism. All right, and that's what we're in now, where it's transhumanism, where it's the emergence of a man with machine. It says secular humanism is a dethroning of God and secular humanism is the dethroning of God and the deifying of man, meaning making man a God himself. All right. The declaration, and that's what, the Genesis 11, which we're going to go into, that's what this is all about. All right. They basically built that tower so if the Lord flooded the earth again, they could climb up high enough. But in doing that, it's just like today. You think with that tower that everybody on earth was going to get to the top? No. The elites, they were of the earth. They were building that tower so that they could be at the top and survive, just like today. All right, but I'll get a little bit of it. Let me keep reading this. The Declaration for the Global Ethic of September 5th, 1993 was signed, calling for the merger of all religions of earth, the world religions to become one. Directing it all from behind the scenes was the most evil genius on planet Earth. His name was Lucifer, Satan, the arch deceiver of all, the father of lies, the devil, the god of this world. All right, this is written in this book. All right, and that's what this was backed by. All right, and that same spirit was here in Genesis 11:1, and the whole earth was of one language and one speech. And it came to pass that they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and dwelt there. And they said one to another, go, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime, and they had for mortar. And they said, go, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. All right, and now didn't it say in Thessalonians, it says, he sitteth in the seat of the Most High, as if he is the Most High, showing that he is him. All right, opposeth all things. That's that same spirit, like it said in that book, all right, by Dwight. It said, and let us make us a name, meaning deify yourself. Let's look up, what does deify mean? What does it mean to deify yourself? Hopefully, StreamYard doesn't time out on me sometimes when I look things up. That's funny. Let's see what DuckDuckGo says. So to deify yourself, it says, means to elevate yourself to a godlike status, often by adopting a belief that you possess ultimate truth or superiority over others. This concept can involve promoting your own ideas as infallible and disregarding different opinions. And that's what was going on here. All right, let us make us a name, lest be scattered abroad. Let me get rid of that tab. Upon the face of the whole earth. All right, so let's go back into this book just to set the stage, because what's going to happen is the mark of the beast is going to come to the church, but they're not going to tell the people it's the mark of the beast. Through gradualism, people are just going to accept it. All right. Before you know it, they'll have chips in their hand. They'll be paying tithes with the mark of the beast if everything is still running in certain places. All right. Because some of this may be going on before a total collapse, because this man has to force it. So if you're in church paying the tithes with the mark of the beast, obviously you've been caused to have it. All right. You've been felt victim to gradualism, like it's a normal thing. All right. But a forcing is coming. So let's I want to start here. I'm going to read through some of this. All right, let's go to start here on page 260. Lord willing, y'all can see this. I'll zoom in. So, all right, it says it could be used as a universal identification. It could be used as a universal identification card that would replace credit cards, passports, driver's license, that sort of thing. Willard said. At the supermarket checkout stand, you would simply pass your hand over the scanner and your bank account would be debited automatically. That's your Amazon Fresh. It says it appears that the area of great economic impact in the next few years is likely to be telematics. Telematics is simply the information of economy. Yes, the technology race is on to total automate and computerize nearly every facet of our lives. Remember, this was written in 93. They say these transponder chips are the perfect solution for positive identification of living creatures. Indeed, once a transponder chip has been injected under the skin and is interrogated with an external scanner, it broadcasts back to the scanner a specific pre-assigned ID number that is unique to that creature. All right, and that's how Esau Edom is going to track everybody, and it's going to go into it. All right, through his satellites. That's why you have Elon launching all these. You can't stop launching these Starlinks. All right, and if Akim got precepts, feel free to drop them in the comment board. All right, it said it's the same concept as the vehicle identification number, the VIN systems for cars. Similarly, the biochip number remains within individually implanted animals for life, allowing them to be traced, tracked, and controlled. Current state of the art. And that's the thing. That's why, Nate was making fun. Was the dog going to buy you land because he has the chip? He's playing games. All right? He knows what the hell we're talking about and what the truth is. It says the current state of the art biochip transponders are encased in a tiny glass tubes about the size of a grain of rice. The injectable transponder, a passive radio frequency tag. All right. But students of Bible prophecy will feel a chilly futuristic wind blowing across a sinister horizon, for the Bible warns us in Revelation 13 that someday soon, let's hit the next one. Okay. Oh, that was the next page, where it said they met up in the parliament. It says, the religions met in the parliament. It says they met in Chicago, Illinois, to finalize plans for religions to become one, to establish a one world church. All right, but continuing on in this, the chip on 261. Right, the world's last dictator. It says global economic system of the Antichrist world dictator, a man whose number is 666 will call for such an alphanumeric identification system. All right, and it's not a man. All right, this is a conglomerate of men. All right, it's the beast system. Yes, it might have been one specific man who thought of it. All right, but he's not going to rise up as there's no such thing as one Antichrist. All right, there's many anti-messiahs. All right, you have so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. 2/3 of them are antichrists. All right, and a lot of them are going to take this thing. Such a planetary network will enable the Illuminati New World Order UN controlled world government to assign everyone on Earth a specific unique ID number for tracking and control. This technology undoubtedly will lead to a universal system of totalitarian enslavement under a computerized global economic network of electronic bondage. In this soon coming cashless electronic debit system, no one will be able to buy or sell anything anywhere without the new NWO global biochip marked in their right hands or foreheads, the MOTB. implantable biochip so small it could be placed in the hand or forehead. All right, you see it says 2.1 millimeters. All right, and 11 millimeters long. It says without it, no transactions of any kind will be permitted. There will be no income, no food, no shelter. No one will be included. No one will be excluded from having to take this mark without facing the death penalty. All right, and that's why during Obama's reign, he brought back the guillotine. All right, but there's other forms of the deletion penalty. All right, that they have on the books. That's why Trump he unleashed that bill to protect the boys in blue and for them to get even more military grade hardware. All right, and to open up the military hardware that Obama tried to not get to them. Trump said, no, let's give that to them and train them with it for domestic terrorism and domestic uprising. Because there's going to be an insurrection of the people against this thing. You're going to have a good amount of people that don't take this. All right. The elect in the scriptures, it says some of us were going to be martyred for this truth. And part of the truth is bringing this out and denying it. All right. And then you have some of the hopeful elect that are going to overcome the beast, all right, in his image and his mark and not worship it. All right. Now, let me zoom out of this. I think that was it on this page. Because it goes into that, this guy, 261, that has some more in here. Oh, this is the page before. All right, this is 259. Sloppy. This was out of order, so it uploaded out of order. It says that the mark, let's start at the here. Is it a coincidence that, and before I pick up, let me actually get this precept. This is Psalm 64 and verse 8. It says, so they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right, and this is their tongue falling upon themselves. All right, let's just look this up in a different version. Through this book. All right. It's a complete revelation of what this man intends to do. He says, so they shall make their own tongues will ruin them, and all who see them will shake their heads in scorn. All right. Job 15 and verse 5, it says, for thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. Thine own mouth condemn thee, and not I, yea, thy own lips testify against thee. And we see that, that's why you have things like ChatGPT. And I'm going to get this question that I asked in the conclusion of this conversation. And this is the question that I asked, and we'll get back to it. It says, what is gradualism? How is the technocracy of the Genius Act tied to it? Could this be leading up to the mark of the beast? All right, we're going to return to this because that's how this man tells on himself through his artificial intelligence that he's created, and that's part of him showing that he's deifying himself. All right, he's trying to be on some transcendent, like the movie Transcendence. All right, trying to get enough human activity to feed into this thing so it can govern humans to some degree. All right, so that's why there's a whole the pact, the something pact that came out earlier this year. On there, it had to deal with the AI governance. Okay. And he's created this again to try to put him on a godlike status. Now let's go back to this book. Okay, this is page 259 of The World's Last Dictator. It says, "Is it a coincidence that the embalm of the EC, the United States of Europe, is 666. The symbol of the World Bank is 666. The symbol of the Trilateral Commission is 666. The symbol of the New Age religion is 666. That every person in the industrial world's number in the supercomputer of Europe is 666. All right, and then again, this book is in 1993. It says the mark in the right hand or forehead. The Bible tells us that the mark will be in the right hand or forehead, not on the word mark in the Greek word charagma says a scratch or etching or cutting into a mark etched or cut into the hand or forehead. And here's the precept: he calls of all, both small and great. So in that, we're going to focus on causative because we're in that causing era right now. Right? We step into the time of the causing is about to happen. All right, but that the soft cause, because It's gradualism now, but this man's going to force it. And when he seriously causes everyone to take it, everyone will know, because that's why this passes Genius with the stable coin, which is a CBDC. This man is literally going to control how you enter and exit the market. So let's say you're somebody that's living isolated somewhere, right? But you order things online, you may pick them up at a PO box. You're not going to be able to get that. If the system can't identify you, who you are, if you not have been uploaded to it, the central bank, because it's going to be a central currency that's used all across the earth. You're not going to be able to make purchases online. Okay, so you're going to be forced into a corner. That's what this cause of really means. All right, when this man comes and threatens, because he's going to get everybody, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, say he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. It says implantable chip technology is here. Future shock now. A transponder ID biochip in your right hand. According to Tim Willard, managing editor of the World Future Society's bi-monthly Managing Futurists, the technology behind such a human microchip is fairly uncomplicated. Conceivable, a number could be assigned at birth and follow someone throughout their life. And that's why there was an interview with a tech guy who's in the tech industry, and he said basically that humans are hackable now. If you can mesh humans' DNA with a machine, you can hack into that human. You can affect their thought patterns. All right, you can and allow humans to through neural links. All right, and different technology, they can control computers. And you see people happy about that. It says most likely, he added, it would be implanted on the back of one's hand for convenience, so that it would be easy to scan at stores. All right, you see that? Now, this is in 1993, and look at the title. It says The Coming Cashless Society. That's the title of this chapter. All right, and it has to do what with the MOTB. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. That was it. Let's hit these precepts, because it said it's going to cause of all, right? So let me get Habakkuk 2. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. All right, that wine is his technocracy. It's his philosophy. His ideology, trying to deify man, like that book said. It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. That's Satan. All right, what does he do? He cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what that book said was fueling the enterprise for the technology for that microchip to be implanted. Hey, at this point, I don't care if this video gets taken down. I'm just going to let it fly. Because eventually this man is going to come for us anyway. So it says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right, it says, gather unto him all nations. Again, that's why all world religions came together. When you go back into Genesis 11, all right, that's why they all came together back then. But what did the Lord do? He totally dismantled it. All right, let's keep going in Genesis 11 real quick. It says, and the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, came down to the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord Yahweh said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do, right? Because they think the power is in their hand. That's where we're at right now in time. All right, the so-called white man, he believes, look what he did to our people. All right, he says, if I can do that, I can go up to the heavens. That's why he shoots trash into the upper atmosphere. This man shoots missiles at the moon. I mean, there's an island of trash floating out there in the Pacific Ocean. This is what letting the earth be ruled by a miscreant looks like. And you know that his spirit was involved in this. It says, and now nothing will be strained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go, this is the angels. All right, this is the angels in this verse. All right, the messengers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It says, go to, let us go down and confound their language, meaning their vision. Our BRICS is not going to save everything, because BRICS is basically a form of the Tower of Babel. You think the BRICS nations are not on board with the Genius Act and stablecoin in a one world currency and a cashless society? Absolutely. But that's going to be confounded under the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah and 144,001 because you're not going to get us. All right, of the hopeful elect. We have to say hopeful elect. We got to keep striving. It says that they may not understand one another's speech, so the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore the name of it called Babel, because the Lord Yahweh did there confound their language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. And again, the angels had part in that, you know. Because you don't hear, the reason why I keep stressing that is because you don't hear that and read this in the church, you know. They just said, you know, they tried to build a tower and then everybody left or something like that. I don't remember how it was in Sunday school, but I know for sure. Why would it say, let us? You know, why would the Lord say, let us go down? You know, it was Yahweh and Yahweh Shah and the angels. Right? Therefore, the name is called the tower. It's called Babel, right? Which means confusion. Now, let me read this Chat GPT conversation, and I'm gonna get let me actually get some precepts. Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shabbat, Bashim Kakadash. All right, let me scroll up some. Yeah, I did want this one too. Yeah, this is it. This is 2 Thessalonians. Shalom, Tazadak, Yahweh Bashim Shabbat, brother. Bashim Kakadash. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. And what's going to fall away? All right, the Son of Man. It says, the man of sin. The man of sin be revealed, and the son of perdition. All right, so it's interesting because you have that word fall there. All right, and in Psalms, it says, shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All right, and part of their falling away is what? Their tongue falling on them. And he makes it easy for him to be revealed. And that's one way. It's through that book. All right. Dwight. It says, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Let me show this one. Let me see if that image came up. Slocky. There it is. All right. Leave that right there. It says 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called the power, Yahweh Bashim Shah, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And you can see that, right? You see that in all facets of our life. This man, he's totally rearranged how we're supposed to eat, you know, how we sleep, our time. You know, you got spring forward and fall back. You know, every theater and movie artwork about the Bible, if everybody looks like him, you know, this is all a psyop. You know, this man is completely lied to everybody. He had us totally confused, and he still got a lot of people confused, and that confusion is gonna fall straight. Everybody is gonna come and say, you know what? Because the confusion causes chaos. Helter Skelter. He's gonna say, you know what? All the confusion can be stopped by putting this in your hand and in your forehead. Just watch. He's gonna say it's more efficient. You know, it's more safer. All right, but a lot of you people, you just want to get torched and missile food if you get that Karagman. All right. Yeah, see? And this book was written in 93. Shalom Zakwan, Yabashim Shabbat Bashim Kawadash. I'm bringing out this Habakkuk 2. You see, this book was written in 93, right? And it says Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. That's why we've been speaking about this, starting with our elders and apostles, a great millstone. that that technology is going to start coming out more and more and more in the news. You can't avoid it, to the point where now IUIC, they have to speak about it. They said something about the Romans getting a coin, and Nate never fully explained what that coin was. All right, then you had this other guy, I don't know their names like that. He said that where technology's going, it might be in the form of an ID or something. Like, what are you talking about? What about that payment part though? What about the buy and sell? All right. And now we're here. This book was written in '93, but now it's happening. All right. This is the appointed time. That's why it's important to tarry. All right. And wait for it. All right. I'm sorry, I said not tarry. It will surely come. We have to wait for it. The Lord said it's good that a man both hope and quietly wait. That's what we do. Quietly wait for the news to start coming out. Because this man told us what he's going to do in his book. It's not like he's not going to do this. Okay, now let's check out Chat GPT, and now I'm going to get some more precepts and I wrap up here. The waterfall of these precepts, I'm going to grab some more Paquadium off the comment board. Paquadium means precepts. Paquadyam. Paquadium. Precepts. Paquadium. All right. Now, this is a question I asked, and I'm going to skim through this kind of quick and get to a point because, AI tries to protect itself from not giving me the full truth. All right. So it says, again, the question was, what is gradualism? Pull this up. What is gradualism, and how is the technocracy or the Genius Act tied to it? Could this be leading up to the mark of the beast? All right. Because this is something that was just passed by Trump. He pushed it forward. It says gradualism is a concept that applies to many areas: politics, science, religion, philosophy. But at its core, it means change occurring slowly and incrementally over time, rather than through sudden or revolutionary shifts. And then it gives a different context of political or social engineering. Gradualism refers to step-by-step implementation of policies or ideological changes, like that whole leftist stuff, that whole LGBT crap. All right, Transformers teaching your kids. All right, that was sudden. That was actually kind of sudden. That wasn't really gradual. Yeah, Obama made that month for June, but then June started lasting into June, into August, and then out of nowhere, it's just like shit was vexing. It was reading in public parks and shit, making them more palatable or less noticeable to the public. All right. Evolution biology describes a slow, continuous evolution. All right. Theology or conspiracy theories. It can refer to a slow erosion of values or freedoms, often interpreted as a part of unfolding prophetic or dystopian agenda. All right. What is technocracy or the Genius Act? There isn't a universally recognized concept or theory called the technocracy or the Genius Act. So let's break down in meanings based on your phrasing. All right. Technocracy is a system of governance or control by technical experts, engineers, scientists, or data-driven systems rather than elected officials and traditional politicians. And this is what's going to cause the insurrection. Because you have a lot of Edomites, a lot of people who just, not even Edomites, you're heathens, all right? So-called white people, Asians, Elamites, Africans, the natural-born Africans, Israelites, Latinos, Blacks. You love America so much, all right? And that if you don't have a say-so in the way that it's going, you're going to rise up because it affects who you are as a patriot of Babylon. You're going to go out there and loot right along with crisis actors and end up with a chip in your hand. That's what this is about. The Lord bringing tension, dismantling the Tower of Babel. Right? Genius Act. This might be a symbolic phrase, possibly referring to policies or global shifts driven from highly intelligent elite technocrats, AI, or transhumanist ideals. See, it didn't really know what I was talking about. I should have referred to the Trump past, and I probably would have pulled it up. All right. But it here says, if you're referring to a technocracy advancing through gradualism, then yes, there's a clear connection. Technocratic systems are often implemented incrementally under the radar by introducing small technological advances, technological conveniences, smartphones, digital ID, biometrics, expanding surveillance or data collection, promoting centralized control through AI and automation, framing it all as progress or efficiency. is that leading up to the mark of the beast. From a biblical and prophetic perspective, Revelation 13, 6 through 17, the MOTB refers to a system where people cannot buy or sell unless they have a specific mark symbolizing allegiance to an anti-system. All right, and then it goes into, it says many interpreters see modern technologies or technocratic control as potential pathways towards this kind of global system, especially when involving digital currency, CBDCs, that could be programmable or restricted. See that? Programmable. All right. They want to program you so they can control you. Biometric ID systems tied to financial access, social credit systems like China that influence behavior, AI driven governance, replacing human judgment and accountability. Gradualism fits into this because it allows such systems to be adopted slowly so people don't resist. They accept each new step as a normal or even helpful. That's what I'm saying. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, if it's easy, they're going to take it. If they can get by, they're not going to care. But everybody's going to have that mindset. All right. Esau is the covering cast is still over a lot of people on earth. It says in summary, gradualism is slow, step-by-step change. Technocracy is ruled by experts or technology often implemented gradually, right? You don't have a say so. There's no democracy in it. You don't vote. The incremental shift to control and dependence on tech could set the stage for something resembling the MOTB, especially when tied to buying, selling, or allegiance. Would you like a timeline or specific current examples of this kind of gradualist technocracy in action? Con. Of course. All right, so look at this breakdown that AI gave, and I'm going to wrap up. All right, because this is wild. It says, great, here's a timeline and key examples of how gradualist technocracy has developed. And Lord willing, after this video is done, somebody out there download it. It might get clipped. All right, especially in ways that concern people who see it potentially leading toward MOTB-like systems. Timeline of gradualist technocracy and global control with examples. Stage 1, digital foundations from the 80s to the 2000s. Goal, lay the infrastructure for digital interconnected society. And if you were born in the 80s like I was, then you saw this growing up. All right, so as personal computers become common in the 90s, internet becomes public. 98, Google is founded, data collection begins scaling massively. 2001, post 911 Patriot Act expands digital surveillance in the US. Gradualist shift, digital identity and surveillance become normalized in the name of convenience and security. Stage 2, smartphone era and surveillance capitalism. From 07 to 2016, goal, normalize 24/7 connectivity and voluntary surveillance. In 07, first iPhone release, ushering in the always online era. Apps start tracking location, habits, contacts. In 2013, Snowden leaks expose global surveillance programs, PRISM and XKeyscore. Biometric IDs begin expanding, i.e., India's Aadhaar system. Gradual shift, people give up privacy for convenience. Surveillance becomes user-driven. In stage 3, AI, social credit, and digital currency pilots, 2016 to 2020. Goal, move from massive data collection to behavior control. All right, again, this man wants to control you like he's a god. We read that in 2 Thessalonians. In 2016, China expands social credit systems, citizens reward punishment based on behavior. And you see that in, what's that, games on Netflix they had? That damn game, them gooses running around killing each other for some, to burn off debt. 2017, somebody posted up, I can't name, what is that name of that? Not Hunger Games, Squid Games. 2017 to 2019, big tech and government start exploring central bank digital currencies, and that literally happened. This is a real timeline. All right. 2019, Amazon introduces palm scan payments. All right, now when we go in that book, let's go back real quick. All right. So now let me go back in this book and read part of this. Because I think Slocky, bear with me. This is a part of this book where it said you can go to the store and just wave your hand. Yeah, here it is. It could be used as a universal identification card that will replace credit cards, passports, driver's license, that sort of thing, Willis said. At the supermarket checkout, you could simply pass your hand over the scanner and your bank account would be debited automatically. 2019, Amazon introduces palm scan payments. Amazon One, and you got Amazon Fresh. It says gradual shift, behavior linked to access and reputation, foreshadowing buy-sell restrictions that no man might buy or sell. Again, this man's that's this whole thing with the stable coin, man. He's showing you that, look, I'm gonna control how you trade. He can restrict whether you trade with Australia, whether you trade on certain futures, options. You have a lot of day traders. You're in a lot of markets. This man's gonna regulate it. All right, because it's gonna be a 1-to-1. And stage 4 says the CV19 catalyst. See what it just brought in here? 2020 to 2022 gold test mass compliance in digital health systems. See, this was a stress test. All right. Digital vaccine passports introduced worldwide. Contact tracing apps adopted in dozens of countries. Businesses and airlines require digital proof of compliance. Talk of immunity IDs and restricted access for the unmarked. You see that? Unmarked or unchipped. Gradual shift introduced health-based restrictions to travel, work, and commerce, proving it can be done globally. You see this man, he just downloaded it onto your iPhone. And we all remember, if you had a phone, they put that health software thing on your phone to identify whether you had the vaccine or not. And I don't care. Clip the video. All right. I'm trying to download it right after this anyways. Upload it on the burner account. All right, stage 5, it says digital ID and programmable money. Now we're up to date, 2023 to present. Goal, merge digital identity, finance, and behavior into one controllable ecosystem. That's where we are. CBDC pilots launched in EU, China, Nigeria, and US. FedNow infrastructure. WEC and UN push global digital ID frameworks. Biometric and facial recognition systems expanded to airports, banking, and retail. AI governance being explored, digital public infrastructure. You see that happening right now. It's prophecy. All right, gradual shift. Because remember, this is all about gradualism. So what gradual shift is happening? It says that economic participation increasingly tied to biometric digital ID and monitor transactions. Is this leading to the mark of the beast, according to Revelation? Says the key components are biblical mark, a mark on hand and forehead, modern equivalent, biometric systems, palm, retina, facial IDs, neural tech, like the Neuralink, required to buy, sell, in the biblical mark, modern equivalent, CBDCs, digital ID, and cashless payment enforcement. All right, in the name of that chapter, in The World's Last Dictator, that I was commenting out of and reading on, all right, is what? The coming cashless society. All right, he already told on himself, and yeah, we bringing it out. And you got AI helping us, telling global enforcement, coordinated tech begins between governments, big tech, and banks. All right, so all the financial institutions and big tech governments and corporations are going to be on board. It says a worship and allegiance, ideological compliance, social credit, ESG, misinfo laws. If these systems become mandatory and tied to allegiance, then yes, they align closely with the warning of the MOTB. Look at this summary. Technocracy is advancing gradually, using technology under the banner of safety, efficiency, and convenience. This has led to biometric ID, programmable money, and AI control becoming part of everyday life. If these systems converge under a centralized, coercive authority, it could resemble the prophetic system in Revelation. Would you like help identifying practical steps to prepare or resist such a system? Spiritually, technologically, or socially? La, absolutely not AI. You've done your job. You've done your job. All right. Again, Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All right. And in this case, their own tongue is Chat GPT. Sometimes it's Grunt. All right. Sometimes it's Gemini. Sometimes it's any other AI out there. All right. I think the brothers was showing a picture of they asked AI to show the serpent going to Eve with a Kango and a black mile in his hand. You know, just showed a viper wearing a Kango with an apple in his mouth. You know, so AI be AI be speaking the truth, man, sometimes. But you got to filter it out, as you could see. All right, Joel 15, and I'll read Joel 15 again and get some precepts and quadrim off the comment board. That holy Frank and murder. All right, this is Job or Awayab persecuted. 15 and verse 5 through 6. A source for thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. Right. You do everything under the guise of, oh, I'm going to keep you safe. All right, it's going to be more efficient. Don't worry, you're not going to have any control. We got you from the skies above. Just sit there and we'll control your mind. Thy own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Thine own lips testify against thee. You see it all the time. These people sitting on grilling these judges and these politicians. They be asking them questions. You know, like the one that comes to mind is Candace Owens. She be going at these different politicians and stuff. But you have a host of these people constantly telling on everybody. And you know, everybody's pointing at the yiddle diddles right now. Kites in our land, those people that are digging tunnels in Brooklyn with bloody mattresses inside of them. All right, you know who you are. You know who's. All right. Oh, this is a good one. Let's bring this out. Let me bring this picture up on the back. This is Isaiah Shalom. This is GMS North Carolina 777 Shalom Zaquan. Yabashim Shabbat Isaiah 42 and 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring up. I tell you of them. And again, this was in 93, and then it came out in this book came out in 90. They did another edition in 95, and the one I have is in 99. All right. And in here it talked about the technology. And now we're seeing it play out right now. All right, through this devil's technocracy, through his scientific elitists, all right, tech experts. And I think Trump just sworn in a bunch of tech experts recently, all right, that you didn't even get to vote on. But hey, the Lord, like you said, behold, the former things are come to pass. The Tower of Babel came to pass. He dismantled it. And new things do I declare. A digital Tower of Babel being built again, where money is tied into it, and the whole earth is going to be uploaded to this man's beast system. All right. But again, you're not going to, and I got to get Revelation for the whole full. Revelation 15. And close to these tabs. All right. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. That's why the Lord said he will do nothing but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. That's why we can go into these books like this, and they'll have precepts and be talking about the Bible, but we are the ones that have the full truth. All right. And I didn't read further on. I haven't read further on into this book in a while. All right. But you know good and well, it is not coming in the spirit of Yahweh Shah. It's just like how we look up secular history and filter it through the scriptures. All right. Real quick, Revelation 15 and 1. It says, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh Shah. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. All right, and that was the destruction of the United States. All right, and the sea of glass represents the firmament. All right, the heavens. Because when we continue reading on, we're going to see that this is what the concept of salvation is all about. All right, those who will be delivered from this fire. All right, and as they're looking down through the sea of glass, all right, the firmament, that's the salvation. All right, escaping it. It says, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, That's one thing. All right. That old Roman Empire coming back again, but with more power collectively with the EU and NATO, and over his image, all right, his ideologies, his philosophies, and not just Serapis Christus. All right. It's everything. It's everything that's synthetic and artificial and anti-Messiah. And over his mark, something that's physical that he's going to put in you, in your right hand, your forehead, wherever the hell he plans to put it, to track you. All right, force you into a corner to say, you know what, you can't buy or sell. Time out. You can't come into the market and make your money today. Time out. You bought too many cheeseburgers last week. You're taking your money away. We give you money, you better buy a damn salad. No dressing. All right. You know the number of his name. And all right, and that man, all right, 666. That's a number that he comes in. That's the name of that man. It's the number of a man. All right, that's the banner that he comes with. We come with 144. Stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. All right, so that sea, standing on the sea of glass again, is that firmament. All right, looking down at the destruction, because the hopeful elect is going to overcome it, singing, and they're going to sing the song of Moses, and they sing the song of Masha, the servant of Yahweh Shema Shah, the song of Lamb, saying, "Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord, power almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of the saints of saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Yahweh Shema Shah, and glorify thy name?" All right. So in this deliverance, the concepts of salvation, what's tied in there? The glorification again of Yahweh and Yahweh Shah, those names. For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. All right. And that doesn't mean all nations are going to be delivered because they're worshiping, because it says all nations, all knees shall bow to Yahweh Shah. All right. Everything on earth. That doesn't mean everybody on earth gets salvation. That doesn't mean deers and crickets are getting delivered into chariots. You know what I'm saying? People just take things totally out of context. All right, but getting back on the topic, all right, this MARK, that's what the world's last dictator is going to bring. All right, and it's not one man like it says in this book. Again, that's why I said the secrets are revealed to the service of the prophets. They in here, they're talking about an one man, Antichrist rising up. You know, that's why you see what here. There's ain't no highlights here. This is no significance. Because Trump is not the Antichrist. All right, you got a lot of Christians crying every night thinking he's the Antichrist. You know, with a MAGA hat hanging over their bed, still hoping that he turns it around through. All right, that was pretty much it. Let me grab a few more precepts off the comment board and I'll roll out. All right, yeah, this is good. Psalms 37:7. Shalom. Rest in the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah. GMS, North Carolina 777. Rest in the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself of him who prospereth in the way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. See, and you got people with these wicked devices in them, and they look like they're prospering. You can open up your garage door. You can lock your house. You can move through the checkout line faster. You think that's prospering? That ain't living, man. Transhumanism ain't where it's at. Allowing Esau to hack your body and control you from the outside within. No, sir, I don't want that. So we're going to do what? We're going to rest in Yahweh Shema Shah and wait patiently for him. That's how we're going to be able to stand on that sea of glass. All right? That's what we're fighting for. You know, you want to make it to that point. Fret not thyself because of him prospereth in the way. Yeah, him that want the chip or is in line or isn't thinking about getting it. You can't wait till the infrastructure before it comes out, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. All right. Matthew 24:24. Tells Shalom tells upon you, Banyamian. Matthew 24:24. For there shall arise false Hamashiach and false prophets, and show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. All right. Because this man, who knows what he did to everybody in 2020, as far as the nanotechnology and graphene and all this other stuff tied into that juicy juice, who knew what he did. All right. But on the books right now, it's not tied to anything financially. Like I said in the AI, ChatGPT, they did that as a stress test to get everybody to comply and to get everybody on board with their health records and to identify the unmarked, those who didn't comply and go out there and compromise their DNA. All right. So a lot of people were deceived, but the elect weren't. We was at camp with masks on, 6 feet apart, doing the work. You know, and if some brothers might have had to lose their job, but guess what? Some brothers got brought back to the job and got paid, or are now working and may not have the same one, but they're working. So it's all about just keeping the faith. All right. And that's what it's about. But that was pretty much it. The water, that was a good one too. Proverbs 3. Proverbs 3 and 5. That was a good one too. Let me bring this out. Daniel 8:25. And Shalom, another good precept. Daniel 8:20, Daniel 8:25. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And we know that this going back into Epiphanies. But everything comes back. All right. And this is happening again. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the princes, the prince of princes, but he shall be taken down without hand, right? Because Yahweh Shai is going to gather and collect through the delegation of the angels, the messengers, the hopeful elect, 144,000 and 1/3, because this mark is going to get issued throughout the whole earth. All right. But what are we going to do? Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. All right. But yeah, the water for all the precepts. Hey, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, of course, the water Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash. And I pray and know that you were edified in this short commentary, talking about the MOTB and this book, that book called The World's Last Dictator. You should get it and check it out. Maybe some other sections the Spirit might hop on you to do a lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So double honors to our elders and apostles, the great millstone, and again, infinite praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Karkadash, and Shalom, Baraka.